Episode from my civil service career. Welcome to my ramblings. This episode is what you got to watch out for lack of a better title. This episode has to do with a particular project I worked on. The APWO from Kingsville had a project that he wanted the facilities group working under the ACOS of the Air Training Wing to work on. Um, okay, didn't seem unusual or anything, but the Navy was doing a lot of ramping up. It was like 2002, 2003, and they wanted to put an aircraft testing station in an aircraft hangar. Okay, that's all well and good. And the first thing they asked is, okay, well, we need some sort of budgeting stuff. So we had some information on the equipment that was going to be installed. Um, I guess heat was generated. So uh, I guess I was the point man on it. We had a mechanical engineer. We didn't really need a civil engineer because what they wanted to know was about the um, you know, can we do this in terms of electrical and mechanical stuff. And so to initiate it, the first thing you do is you go through and you check out and see, okay, well, does the Navy have established criteria for this type of thing? When you're testing an engine, you have really high speed moving parts. So I didn't have a lot, but one thing they said is because of the potential for this piece of equipment from flying apart, um, it could disintegrate, if there's something wrong. And got high speed metal parts flying all over everywhere. So what their criteria was is do not put this in an unreinforced CMU room. Okay, well they didn't tell us where they were going to put it, and I was mainly looking for the electrical criteria and mechanical to point out to the mechanical engineer. And so I go do, the standard, there's no drawing, so you make a field visit, you get information on the equipment, assess the loads that are going to go through it, and figure, okay, does the building have the capacity? Okay, the building has the capacity. Where in the existing electrical system is there capacity to connect this system? And I don't recall, but um, um, I'm not sure if it even got to that because I'm not sure at that time we knew where it was going to go. Um, I think we did. So I think I did that analysis. And so I send the information to them, the electrical and mechanical project preparation stuff, just an assessment of, mechanical guy provided his information. And so the project comes back, and this time it says, um, and I don't remember the specifics. I remember we didn't know exactly where it was going to go, or they were just asking for electrical mechanical. But when they actually come back and say, okay, hey, we want you to design this so we could put it out for bid, they had actually made it more than just electrical and mechanical. And I'm sitting there thinking about, well, you know, this is an interior. It turns out, so it ends up, it's going to be in an interior portion of an aircraft hangar. But they're not just asking for electromechanical, they're asking for all discipline type stuff. And so the CMU thing comes back. And I said, okay, well, we need to assess whether the CMU is reinforced. We can't put in, it wasn't a load bearing wall, at least not to my knowledge. And so I tried to get our civil guy involvement, but he's not a structural guy, he's a civil. And so we didn't have the personnel to assess the wall. So I send information back and I say, hey, look, the specific place you want to put it, the criteria is that the CMU wall needs to be reinforced. Um, you're asking us, initially we gave you information for electrical and mechanical, and now you sort of presented it as a whole project. We can't proceed until we know whether that wall is reinforced or not. Can you provide that information? Um, so, what the hell is this shit? You gave us this first set of information, which I think it included an assessment of the cost and estimate, but um, and now you're telling us that you need this, that, the other thing. So, well, it's the way you presented it the first time. You know, you wanted to know if it could be installed and what upgrades needed to be done, and you know, um, the mechanical systems that would be in place to siphon off the heat. But now, when you came back to us, you're presenting it. You want our group to more or less assume more responsibility than what you asked. And when you do that, it's my job to raise this issue. And so just back and forth, and we never got anything. We never actually ended up doing the project, I think. Nobody could grasp that. You know, it's like, why are you being so much trouble? Why are you being... Mechanical engineers tried to circumvent me so the project can move forward. We got to make sure that if that thing disintegrates, you know, it's not going to kill the workers that are working nearby. It's not like I have a fascination with workers or anything. It's just the criteria is you can't put that in a room unless, you know, it's CMU filled and rebars and stuff like that. And your plans don't indicate that. You know, the existing drawings of the facility don't indicate that. You know, we need an assessment done of that. Um, we don't have the personnel to do that. So either you're going to have to include that where we contract that part out, or your people are going to have to assess that. Or, you know, um, you can always just give us a waiver on it. And if something happens, they know who to go track down for being irresponsible. But so I don't think we ended up doing a couple of installation. I don't want to use the word installation because we weren't contractors. We weren't construction contractors. You know, we weren't the people that actually went out and hired construction contractors on behalf of the government. Anything we did had to go through a contracting officer who would then put it out for bid. It goes into another one. The guy asked for just an initial assessment, right? And that means all the details aren't worked out. Then you send it to them. They're going to put in a new workshop that had really particular grounding requirements. And he says, well, wait a minute. You know what you send us? This thing has to go through 3 reviews, each step deciding either you have to go out and get funds, or you decide if you want to go forward with it. We haven't done a full assessment of the facility to meet your needs. We did what the specific criteria was. The guy just decided to go on and proceed off of that, even though he short-circuited his entire layout of how the project was supposed to proceed. I hope it turned out okay. I'm sure it did. They probably ended up having a bunch of people come in and giving their 2 cents, and they kind of got it worked out, I would assume. But sometimes, you know, they say, hey, this is what we want, and then, you know, later on we'll go to this step and then to this step. They just circumvent. I guess they didn't realize what they were asking for or whatever, but sometimes that's the way things happen. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Have a nice day.